the Taliban seized power in Afghanistan, tens of thousands of people who worked with foreign governments are still stuck in the country. Many are living in hiding, fearing for their lives. Some teachers who had contracts with the British Council have told the BBC they've been detained or accused of being spies. Hundreds of other Afghans who helped the UK's military are also stranded. More than 20 people have been killed in Pakistan after a bus crashed into an oil tanker and burst into flames. According to a local police official, 3 buses were racing when one of them rammed into the oncoming oil tanker. The accident occurred near the city of Multan. The UN's Special Envoy to Myanmar is beginning her first trip to the country today. Noeleen Heyzer is visiting a day after a court sentenced the ousted civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi to a further 6 years in prison on corruption charges, a decision strongly criticised by the US and the European Union. The UN said Ms Heyzer would focus on addressing the deteriorating situation in Myanmar, where the army seized power in a coup last year. Conservationists in Australia have released 13 critically endangered smoky mice into the wild after breeding them in captivity. The move is part of a rewilding programme, as Phil Mercer reports from Sydney.
It's part of a project that the authorities in New South Wales hope will help to turn back the tide on extinctions. They aim to create a network of predator-free wildlife sanctuaries covering 65,000 hectares that have been cleared of feral pests including cats and foxes. A recent government report found that Australia had lost more mammal species than any other continent. Environmental degradation was blamed on climate change, habitat loss and invasive species.
That's the latest. BBC News.
Hello, this is the Arts Hour on the BBC World Service. I'm Nikki Beattie, reflecting on the world of arts and entertainment for the next 60 minutes with the best global arts and culture conversation.
100,000 flights cancelled, issues with baggage, lost bags, and also long queues at airports. And this goes beyond Heathrow Airport, across the country. Now, British Airways in particular, if you look on their website, are offering a £1,000 sign-on bonus for people who are successful in being hired as, in particular, ground operational staff roles. And this is telling of just how desperate they are for staff. Now, we have had some reaction from airlines in regards to the extension of Heathrow's flight cap. Virgin Atlantic have said that they are disappointed in Heathrow. Meanwhile, Ryanair, the chief executive of Ryanair, Michael O'Leary, has called the airport hopeless Heathrow and has said that his airline, Ryanair, which are not based out of Heathrow but largely in Stansted, will be offering 500 new flights in light of this extension of the cap, which is an additional 100,000 flights. Now, Heathrow Airport have turned around and said, listen, this is not something that we want to be doing. We are only going to lift this cap, which, by the way, is under review, only until we are confident that we can offer our customers a reliable service.
Summer Chowdhury at Heathrow, thanks very much indeed. Now, after weeks of dry, baking hot weather, much of the UK is today covered by warnings for flash floods and thunderstorms. 3 Met Office weather warnings are in effect today. That includes a yellow weather warning for thunderstorms across most of the UK. We're being told that the conditions could cause flash flooding, disruption to transport and possibly even power cuts. Well, that warning will stay in place tomorrow for some areas, including the East Midlands, East of England, London and South East England, South West England and the West Midlands. Well, this is Truro in Cornwall. Heavy rain leading to flooding there yesterday afternoon. One witness said the water level was the highest he's ever seen in the county. And it was a similar scene in parts of Scotland too. This footage was taken in Kilmarnock in East Ayrshire, where it's reported that police were forced to shut certain roads. Parts of Ireland have been hit by floods too. Drivers have been urged to take extra care as the roads were completely covered in New Ross in County Wexford. Let's bring in Sky's Matthew Thompson, who's in Richmond in southwest London for us. Matthew, of course, a huge park in Richmond, some parched land there too.
Certainly there is. I mean, this is just one of the many places in the country where the Met Office has put in a yellow weather warning and stronger amber warnings in place for parts of southwest of England as well. And it might seem slightly counterintuitive to be warning about the risk of flooding, almost in the same breath that we've been talking about severe droughts. But that is exactly what the Met Office is doing. And the reason why, as you alluded to, is because of the ground. The ground after England's driest summer for nearly 50 years is parched. It's extremely hard and extremely dry. What that means is that rain tends to just run off the ground rather than be soaked into it, and that therefore has two principal consequences. The first is the risk of flash flooding, and many people will be welcoming the rains as and when they arrive. Goodness knows there are many gardens, farms and all the rest of it that are in dire need of some water, but too much rain in the form of the thunderstorms that we're expecting across the country, well, that's a bit of a problem. And that's why you might expect, particularly in places that are near fields, roads, as you've just been seeing in some of those pictures, anywhere that there might be surface runoff in great quantities is liable to be flooded. The second consequence of the dry ground is that it's not the rain, when it comes, is not necessarily going to alleviate those drought conditions. So the risk of fire remains very much an active concern. I spoke to the London Fire Brigade just yesterday, and they told me that the rule of thumb broadly is that until we start seeing green grass instead of the dry yellow carpets that we're seeing across much of the country, well, we've still got to be conscious about the risk of fire. Then the other thing is that water shortages will remain a problem as well. And really what we need to refill the rivers and reservoirs right across the country is several months of solid rainfall into the autumn rather than just this sudden sharp heavy spell that we're experiencing at the moment.
Okay, Matthew Thompson in Richmond, thanks very much indeed. Russia's defence minister has said his country sees no need to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Sergei Shoigu has also claimed Ukrainian military operations are being planned by the United States and the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged Western leaders to ramp up sanctions on Russia.
Russia does not stop its blackmail actions in and around the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. Provocative shelling of the territory continues. Under the cover of the plant, the occupiers are shelling nearby towns and communities. Russian troops hide ammunition and equipment right in the facilities of the plant. The plant is mined. We need to move on from discussions and call for new tough sanctions against Russia and the entire nuclear industry of the terrorist state. All Russian forces must immediately withdraw from the station and neighbouring areas without any conditions.
And staying in Ukraine, 3 British men accused of being mercenaries fighting with Ukrainian forces against Russia have pleaded not guilty in a court administered by Kremlin-backed separatists in the Donetsk People's Republic. And correspondent Alistair Bunkle has the very latest from Odessa.
If they capture any foreign fighters or people who they believe are foreign fighters, they are putting them on trial in some of the areas that they currently occupy. And this trial happened in what's known as the Donetsk People's Republic by the Russians, but it is still officially a part of Ukraine and a part of Ukraine that Kiev hopes to recapture in due course. These 3 Britons, John Harding, Andrew Hill, Dylan Healy, all captured in different places and doing different things. For example, Dylan Healy was an aid worker. John Harding was captured around the city of Mariupol. But they're all accused of being mercenaries by the Russians, and they've all pleaded not guilty to that. So they will be back in court in October. Now, the British government has very fiercely reacted to any kind of trials of this kind of British nationals, saying that they're show trials and saying that people should be treated treated as prisoners of war under the Geneva Convention and not put on trial and potentially sentenced to death. So a very serious situation potentially waiting those three Britons. Elsewhere, the fighting continues in every bit as a brutal manner as it has been for almost the last 6 months. The focus is around here in the southern front and perhaps potential counteroffensive on the city of Kherson, but also Europe's largest nuclear power plant at Zaporizhia, currently occupied by the Russians, but has been shelled a number of times in the recent days and weeks. The Russians blame the Ukrainians blame the Russians, but the United Nations and others around the world are saying, given that it is a nuclear power plant, it is a very, very worrying situation indeed, and they need the firing to stop around there so that inspectors can get in and make sure that it is safe.
Let's take a look at some of today's other news for you now. And police have recovered the body of a teenage girl from water in Greater Manchester. Officers were called to reports of someone getting into difficulty in Stalybridge last night. Greater Manchester Police said formal identification has taken place and specially trained officers are offering support to the family. Donald Trump has accused the FBI of stealing 3 passports during a search of his Mar-a-Lago estate. The FBI raided the former US president's home when officials discovered boxes containing classified information were taken after his presidency came to an end. A Department of Justice official has told NBC News that passports belonging to Mr. Trump are not in the possession of the FBI and have been returned. And Donald Trump's former attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is a target of the criminal investigation in Georgia that's been examining efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The move to designate Giuliani, who's 78, as a target as opposed to a subject confirms his identification as a key figure in the attempt to reverse the former president's electoral defeat to Joe Biden in the state. A British teenager has died while on holiday in Turkey. The 14-year-old boy, who hasn't been named, reportedly got into difficulty while swimming at the Liberty Lara Beach Hotel near Antalya on Sunday afternoon. A spokesperson for the Foreign Office says they're supporting his family. The number of midwives has fallen across every region in England over the past year, with a total down by around 600. Worst hit areas like Yorkshire and the North East, but the Royal College of Midwives says the total shortage is now more than 2,000 midwives. The Tory leadership candidates Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak travel to Scotland today, promising to protect the union and bring greater scrutiny to decisions by the Scottish government. It'll come just a couple of weeks after Liz Truss accused Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon of being an attention seeker who should be ignored. Well, earlier, Rishi Sunak supporter Andrew Bowie was asked whether Mr. Sunak agrees.
I think you could judge Nicola Sturgeon by her own actions. The twice Vogue cover star Nicola Sturgeon, whether or not she would claim that she was an attention seeker or not. The thing about what Liz Truss said in Exeter isn't that she claimed Nicola was an attention seeker. It's that we ignore the SNP. Now, we don't beat the SNP by ignoring them. We beat the SNP by taking them onto the ballot box and winning the argument. And that's what I want to see. And that's what Rishi Sunak would do if he became leader of the Conservative Party.
Oh, straight to Sky's political correspondent Tamara Cohen, who's in Westminster for us this morning. Tamara, the campaign takes itself to Scotland today.
Morning, Simon. Yes, both leadership candidates will be in Perth this evening taking questions from Conservative Party members there, and both of them today pitching to be the candidate who can hold the union together. Of course, the Conservative and Unionist Party has some work to do in that regard. We know that it was many Scottish Conservatives who were leading the charge against Boris Johnson over Partygate, and there is a job to do in rebuilding trust. We have Rishi Sunak today and Liz Truss both saying saying that they want to have more scrutiny of the Scottish government in its activities in various ways. Rishi Sunak saying he wants civil servants in the Scottish government to come and account for their actions to committees here in Westminster. Liz Truss saying she would give Scottish Conservative MSPs immunity from prosecution for what they say in Holyrood, which is what MPs have here at Westminster. But I think the bigger question we'll see tonight in the hustings and some previous hustings that you can see there is really one of tone. We've seen Liz Truss really taking the fight to Nicola Sturgeon, calling her an attention seeker, saying she should be ignored, whereas Rishi Sunak has been more muted. So will we see that pattern continue tonight, or will Rishi Sunak be more aggressive towards Nicola Sturgeon? There seems to be a dividing line there. And of course, the cost of living is likely to dominate these hustings as it has done in all other parts of the country. We may get the first direct criticism of Labour's energy bill policy from both candidates who've been quite quiet about it so far. Labour's plans to freeze energy bills for 6 months at a cost of £30 billion and potentially more if they need freezing for longer. Neither candidate has really got stuck into that policy, but we know that the SNP, the Scottish Nationalists, supported a form of increased windfall tax to do something similar, but they wouldn't do it just on the oil and gas companies. This is what Ian Blackford, the SNP's Westminster leader, told us this morning.
We have supported calls for a windfall tax for a very considerable period of time, but it must be more broadly based than what we saw with the government announcement a few months ago, way back in May. So we need to think about those companies, for example, like Amazon, that profited extremely well from the pandemic, and make sure that those that have benefited over the course of the very recent past make their contribution, that we're all in this together, and we recognise that all those companies have got a responsibility, a collective responsibility, to work together to make sure that we can mitigate the effects of this energy crisis.
So you've got all the opposition parties now lining up to support a higher windfall tax and more help with the cost of living. Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss have so far indicated they're against extending the current windfall tax, but will we see any softening of that today, or on the idea that handouts to help people with energy bills may need to be higher?
Tamara, thank you. This is Sky News Today. Coming up, why children's nurseries are struggling to recruit and retain staff.
I'm Mark Stone and I'm Sky's correspondent based here in Washington, D.C. Well, the plan seems to be to head to the police station where the policeman who fired the shots was based.
And everything, his memories is all gone.
In almost every corner, this town has been completely destroyed by the fire. I've witnessed the remarkable passion for politics here, but the anger too.
We have to get Trump out of the White House.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
It's easy to go to politics.
But it's important. It's at the heart of the issue.
I get that that's where the media likes to go.
No, it's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
I report on the biggest stories from around the world. This is a town that is effectively encircled by the Russians. You say it's all fabrication, what's happening in Bucha?
Destroyed my nation.
We take you to the heart of stories that shape our planet. Yeah, I can hear now quite a few explosions in the distance here in Jerusalem. A very violent series of confrontations here. What do you think of ISIS?
Everybody here knows the truth of ISIS.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food, Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Fees in regards to gas and electric at a 300% increase over the last 3 years, and then the significant under government funding.
The prospect of closure would mean Oliver would have no childcare. His parents both work full-time and have limited options.
We don't have a support network, so Oliver is full-time at nursery, so we couldn't rely on parents, so we'd either have to look for another nursery or one of us would have to really rethink our working patterns.
Rethinking work is simply not an option for some parents, with the cost of living rising. But across the country, that's what many are being forced to do. The number of childcare providers in England fell by around 4,000 in the year leading up to March. And as more and more nurseries close, there are fewer options for parents who suddenly find themselves without childcare.
Say, bunny rabbit.
Industry leaders are urging the government to act.
Funding is the key issue because the government is the biggest purchaser of childcare in this country. So as the big customer, if they're not paying the going rate, there's no way they can expect providers to deliver high quality, safely and sustainably.
The government point to £4 billion spent in each of the past 5 years to support families with childcare. But the closure of nurseries is a worry working parents simply can't afford. Becky Johnson, Sky News in Warrington.
Let's take a look at the weather for you now.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Well, there are cooler, more unsettled conditions in the days ahead, but fresher Atlantic air won't reach all parts until Thursday, so it'll still feel close and oppressive at times. Rain over Scotland will edge away eastwards through the morning. Showers across England and Wales will be heavy and slow-moving, turning thundery at times. Some torrential downpours are likely, with the risk of flash floods and challenging driving conditions, so do be careful out there. Elsewhere, there'll be a mix of sunny spells and areas of cloud. Scotland will largely dry up through the afternoon, with increasing brightness in the northwest.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
You're watching Sky News today. Will there be chaos at half-term as Heathrow extends its cap on passenger numbers into the autumn? Join us after the break.
To their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The hole of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Broadcasting live online.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Star Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Show them you got the Coco set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Star Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We call them London for home. For here, we call them London. And I sabi you know, just have fun and stay blessed.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. The best radio show.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. On the morning show. Hey there, this is Archie, and it is Starr Radio UK on the morning show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome. The best radio show. Welcome.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In
your car.
At home. On your smartphone.
You hold the world in your hands. The hand that made me who I am. Same for now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you free.
Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Tuesday edition of the morning show.
To the end,
Today is the 16th day of August, the year 2022. The time now 10:38 from the hearts of London. So once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. And welcome to the show. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. We're transmitting live on the Starr Radio UK app and on the social media platform. On the Facebook, we are transmitting on Archie Hammond, or you go to Starr Radio UK fan club or the Starr Studios. And then we are live on the YouTube and Twitter as well. But all in all, I want to welcome you all. I say it all the time, the best way to listen to us by downloading our apps and go to your app store, whether it's iOS or Android. Just type in Starr Radio Global and it will pop up and then you can download it for free. Alright then. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. So from what now till 1 o'clock when the curtains are brought down, or 12:30 when the curtains are brought down, I'm going to be your captain, seeing you through all the journey. Let me say good morning to my team, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Massive good morning to you. Working behind the scene, Mr. Frank Davis and Mr. Francis Guy, my able producer. Let me say good morning to all presenters on Starr Radio UK. Amaya, I hope you are doing very well. And to Anthony Adedeji, good morning to you. And let me say good morning also to Sir Moses. Miss Gold all the way in UAE. Good morning to you. I know by this time it's afternoon there, but from London, good morning. Casino all the way in Moscow, massive good morning to you as well. Okay, if it is the first time of tuning in to listen to us, that's how the program will go. But let me say a special good morning to the one and only Reverend Emmanuel Chidi, man of God. Massive good morning to you. I'm so grateful for your support every time that we are on, whatever you are there with us, and we thank you. May God richly bless you. Okay, I'm going to bring you the quote of the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. Move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Then at 11 o'clock, we'll have Mr. Olayomi Koiki who will be joining in to bring you updates from Nigeria. There's lots happening there. And then we'll continue from there to look at some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe. At 12 o'clock, the lines are open. We'll continue from there till 12:30. And the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So that's what's going to happen today. And so good morning to all the Hammonds in Ghana and across the globe. And a special good morning to our Americans, North and South, and the Caribbean area as well. All our listeners there, I salute each and every one of you. And a special good morning all goes to the Europeans and the Asians. Yeah, anybody from Asia is an Asian, right? And then to the Aussies from the Australia, and from the Africans, those who come from Africa. Especially those of you wonderful people in Nigeria, in Uganda, Tiso Radio, I salute each and every one of you. And then to those of you in South Africa, those of you in Ghana, those of you on the African continent, wherever you have tuned in to listen to us from, especially our listeners in Kenya as well, I salute each and every one of you. And once again, I say welcome to the program. 10:43 the time, let's crack on. The quote for today says, to meet the challenges of this era and succeed, you must have principles and values that make you a person that other people and society need. So what are you doing? Are you doing something that when you are not there, the vacuum will be felt? Your absence will be so much felt. Well, if not, then please crack on. Go into your thinking gallery. Look around you. There might be something that you can do. Who knows? Okay, so let's move on. Now, moving on straight to the weather front. And we face out some hot weathers, but it looks like now another turn of event. And what we're going to be seeing today, it will be cloudy and warm afternoon, and showers will become increasingly frequent and heavy through the day. Some rumbles of thunder are likely at times. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a few lingering showers during the early hours. Now, further heavy and thundery showers will push through the south, but it will turn a little drier by dawn. Temperature is going to be 24 degrees, the lower is going to be 16 degrees, UV level is going to be low, pollen level is going to be moderate, pollution is going to be low, sunset 2022 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 05:47 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. Let's take a quick break. Don't you worry, I'll bring you the full end of that song wherever you might be, and then we continue with the show. So stay tuned and I'll be with you.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio travel update that comes your way every weekday from 10:40. It's not 10:45. What is your travels like this morning? We know some lots of announcements and warnings have gone around. So you have to watch out for flash floods. But if you are in London and the sides of England and across the UK, this is what you're going to be facing today. Now, on the Elizabeth line, there are minor delays between Liverpool Street and Shenfield due to an earlier 40 train at Stratford. Good service on all other routes. The London tram link has got minor delays due to tram cancellations as well. The other side, all the underground lines, good service. London Overground and DL are good service there as well. Now, moving on straight to the major roads in London. A1, A4, A40, Central London Red Routes, North Circular A406, South Circular A205 have all got closures there as well. I'm moving on straight to the river bars this morning. On the river bars, the Woolwich Ferry is suspended. The other side, all the others have got good service. Now to the final segment of the travel update, that's the National Rail. On the National Rail, the Gatwick Express has got minor delays, Great Northern, minor delays, Great Western Railway, minor delays, now ScotRail, minor delays, now Southeastern, minor delays, Southern, minor delays, and Thameslink, minor delays. Now Southwestern Railway has got special service, so check before you leave. The other side, all the others are running smoothly. But once again, let me say, if you are stuck in there, continue to listen to West Coast as and when there are any changes. I promise you one thing for sure, we'll bring it to the fore. So on that note, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Okay, welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 10:49, and it's now time for Global Trotting. Well, I'll be having Mr. Olayomi joining us in a moment, and we will be bringing you everything that you need to know when it comes to what is happening in Nigeria and on the African continent as well. But wherever you are, as I say it all the time, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, if it's making the headlines, I promise you one thing for sure, we're gonna touch on that. All right, yes. Okay, let me say a special good morning to Staff Sergeant Charles Hammond Quay in Ghana. I hope you are doing very, very well there as well. All right, then, now let's move on to the Global Trotting. Okay, now when it comes to some of the stories we're going to be looking at from Nigeria, and the federal government has been warned against acute hunger. Now we know that the borders, the western borders, were shut to stop people from bringing in goods. I mean, it's a rice and some other products which come from the free ports in Benin and Togo. So they put that law into place so that people they shut those borders so that people will not be able to move, so that to protect the local market. That's what the government said. However, now that hunger is looming, and we are sure that maybe some of the stuff that we are getting there might be cheaper than what we are getting from the local market, which has been hit by the abductions and killings of farmers and stuff like that. Do you think that the government is going to do something about that? We're going to be looking into that as well. Nigeria's July inflation rate jumped to 19.64%. We're going to be looking at anxiety as terrorists kidnap Nasarawa Information Commissioner. That is quite a serious one. A serious one. The Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism in Nasarawa State, Yakubu Lawal, has been kidnapped by gunmen. Now, who did that? We're going to be looking more into that. But some other headlines coming from Nigeria. It says that Buhari government failed to provide security, welfare to Nigerians, and that's what the Afenifere is saying. Let me bring a bit of the headlines from there. The Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere has berated the current administration for failing to secure the lives and properties of Nigerians as the economy spirals due to inflation rate. This stance was contained in a statement issued on Monday by the Afenifere spokesman Jare Ajayi, who further slammed the shoddy handling of terrorism across the country. Lots more are going to be coming your way from Nigeria once I have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in. Moving on to some other parts of the African continent as well. Well, in Ghana, be patient and trust President Nana Addo. He will deliver. Chairman Koka assures Ashanti region. Interesting. What is he going to deliver? What has he got? Yeah, your colleague orphans in Parliament are doing well. Enough of the excuses. Abakisi to Agalga. Okay, we'll be looking more into that story as well. And then moving on to some other stories making the rounds in Ghana. So, Bank of Ghana to hold emergency economic review in meeting on Wednesday. Coup trial. ACP Agozo files criminal appeal against orders to open defense. Now, how long will this case go on? Now, if they don't have, if the prosecution have not got enough evidence, let the people go. Well, don't deceive Ghanaians on tariff bites. Minority to PURC. There are some of the stories we'll be looking at when we get there as well. And then Parliament was not transparent in passing Narcotics Control Commission Act. The Supreme Court is saying, well, some farmers who are grown how many acres or hectares of acres of weed, they had a weed plantation. I mean, who knows that they were not going to spread it? Were actually were arrested by the police, and the Supreme Court is saying that Parliament was not transparent in passing the Narcotics Control Commission. So those people, I claim that they need to be released ASAP. Now, when it comes to the Kenyan elections, Kenyan Deputy President Ruto has been declared election winner. It's one of the stories making the round there on the African Current Burundian Army contingent deployed in Eastern DRC, and some other stories. Kenya Election Commission rejects upcoming results. Okay, and Zuma lawyers try to overturn decision to send him back to jail. Those are some of the stories making the rounds on the African continent. Now, moving on to other parts of the world as well. Well, explosion rocks Russian base in occupied Crimea again. Last week we had another place where it was rocked by another explosions there, and by the Russians were saying, no, it was something that happened in there. How could that happen? Well, okay, so that is there, and the fires are demilitarizing in action. Ukraine advisor videos show large blast in the northern part of the peninsula, which Moscow annexed from Ukraine in 2014. I wish I never worked for the UK in Afghanistan. Afghan contractors left behind when the Taliban seized power, are saying to some news networks there. Oscar apologizes to Little Feather after 50 years. Sachin Little Feather rejected the award on Marlon Brando's behalf over representation in the film. Okay? Scott Morrison trashed our democracy. Australia Prime Minister is saying, how did he trash our democracy? And the human remains found in suitcases bought at auctions. Oh my goodness. Family in New Zealand made a grisly discovery upon unpacking their haul at their home. Oh gosh, where did they get that from? That is a scary one. Well, when it comes to the UK front, inflation drives fastest fall in real pay on record. Now, wage growth is lagging behind soaring prices as households grapple with the rising living costs. And then storms and heavy rain hit UK amid weather warnings. A yellow weather warning is in place for England and Wales on Tuesday ahead of torrential rain. Now, when it comes to other stories as well, the political front, now Tory hopefuls call for more scrutiny of SNP record. Now Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak are in Perth to pitch the votes of Scottish Tory members. But Liz Truss' statement that ignore Nicola Sturgeon because she's just an attention seeker. Do you think that is the way forward? Do you think that? So, I mean, straight on come in and well, somebody will say that it's better to make your stand or take your stand rather than to be here and there. And maybe that's what she's done. But what do you think? This and a lot more we're going to be looking at on Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. For now, let me bring you some music and then we will be back. And this is from Edith Morrison. He says, Onyamiye. That means God is good. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
Oh yeah.
good. God is good to everybody. God is good to everybody. A song from Enid Morrison. And I hope that you enjoy that piece of music that I was playing. But it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And the time now is 2 minutes past the top of the hour. As I said, we're going to be having Miss Olayomi joining us in a moment. But this afternoon, exactly at 1:30, I'll be bringing you BB Means Business with the one and only BB Clement. So stay tuned and don't you go away. And of course, this afternoon, there's lots of music done coming your way as well. So I hope that you stay glued to your sets, wherever you might be, and enjoy all the shows that Starr Radio UK is bringing your way. Starr Radio UK. I'm going to be bringing you updates from Nigeria whilst we get Mr. Olayomi ready. But remember, tomorrow morning, exactly at 5:30 a.m., the Power Hour will be coming your way. A time of prayer and intercession with the Power Word International and the head pastor himself, Reverend Michael Esiama, will be bringing that program your way. Yeah, it is a call to prayer. Rise up and then pray. Okay, now let us move on to updates from Nigeria, because I have the singular honor of presenting to you once again the one and only, and still the reigning champion. I call him that, the White Lion. Yes, Mr. Olayomi, who is here this morning. And I say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Well, it is a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to Frank. Good morning to all other presenters. And we say welcome once again to all our listeners from around the globe. And we say welcome to Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, how are you doing? And how is the nice weather now? A bit of rain. It seems that the heat is gone down a bit.
Well, I think we needed the rain. If you look at the drought that is currently taking place in some part of England this morning, I believe some of the farmers will be more excited as well. I mean, it's been very, very warm. I was out yesterday, and you could still tell that the weather is still playing a big impact. But I believe right now, looking from the window view, it is a bit calm, and we hope it can become more calmer. In as much as I love it to be hot, but again, it's got to be a little bit balanced, especially with the children in the house during this holiday period. And literally, you just ought to have the window open so that you can get that fresh air. But in the night, it could be a little bit difficult, sleeping in this very, very hot weather.
Yeah.
But again, it's good to be back again with you this morning, Mr. Archie.
Yes, we are back, and we are here to bring you updates from Nigeria. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's now 6 minutes past 11. Mr. Olayomi in our North London studios, and I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria now. Now, interestingly, the federal government has been warned against acute hunger. Now, when I saw that story, what cropped to my mind straight was that, look, we have farmers in Nigeria who will have tilled the land, come out with their produce, whatever it is, because there are no droughts per se in that part of the world. But because of terrorism and abductions and banditry that is going on, they are not able to go till the land. And now that it's in a basket of food production for the West African sub-region is now going to go hungry. So what about the other neighboring countries that is around them? What do you think is going to even happen to them? Yomi?
Well, I think what we need to understand is Nigeria has been a bit of problem, for some time now. I mean, we're talking about, some very, very long time where a lot of Nigerians are going through difficulties. You're quite right. You would expect that Nigeria should be, producing enough, to give. You would expect Nigeria to be given enough, when it comes to the situation that we have presently. But the reason why we are going through that difficult is we are now allowing, the terrorism that is creating a lot of havoc. And I won't get, the engineer working on the audio. I was actually listening, yesterday, and I'm going to be bringing that up. But this headline says, federal government warned acute hunger, and likewise, the Sierra Leone crisis as well. When you look at the Nigerians' inflation rate as at July last month, it has literally jumped from 19.64%, it has actually jumped to 19.64%. But as of June, which is a month prior to that, it was only 18.60%. So signaling a looming cost of living crisis in Africa's most populous nation. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the 19.64% inflation represents the country's highest inflation in 17 years. So I was able to break it down. So let's take it back to, Nigeria returned back to democracy, in 1999. So that means 10 years of the PDP, we were already in danger, and the 7 years of the APC. So it's not literally just the APC, but this has been going on for 17 years. According to the Statistician General of the Federation and the Chief Executive Officer, Prince Samuel Adeniran, say this in the Consumer Price Index in July 2022 that was only released yesterday. Economics and other stakeholders warn that the rising inflation will worsen hunger in the country, adding that the government risks mass protests to the ones similar to Sierra Leone. I repeat that again. The government of Nigeria should be preparing for mass protests, as we saw in Sierra Leone, we saw that in Sri Lanka, we saw that in places at the beginning of this year when citizens were literally coming out on the road. We are not the ones saying that, but this is what the economics and the stakeholders are saying. And the question is, should that happen? This is going to be a very big problem, and that is why we are saying to the government, I don't know what they're going to be doing right now, but it seems that the situation is now becoming alarming, that more Nigerians are going into abject poverty as we speak this morning. I come back again to you in the studio while we get the audio from the interview that I picked up yesterday on Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, Mr. Archie.
Well, listeners, that's a troubling situation. I mean, even a friend of mine would say that even once we are lying flat facing up, we couldn't see God. Though talk less once we are lying, face down. How can you even have the chance of seeing God? Okay. Now, so when even things were taken along, you were expecting people to have the means to cater for themselves or fend for themselves. They couldn't do that. Now that the inflation is, galloping. Let me put it that way, galloping inflation, and there is all sorts happening. Prices of everything is just skyrocketing. How will people even survive? And want to say that what is happening in Sierra Leone is there is a chance that could happen in Nigeria. What do you think the leaders are doing? Are they now thinking of opening the western border so that those who bring in rice and other stuff will be able to bring it in, which we're looking at the prices that might be comparably a bit cheaper, that people can afford that as well? What do you think? Let's see whether Yomi has got the audio.
Well, yes, we've got a lineup, and it is actually as just not part of almost every part of Nigeria is going through danger as we speak this morning. So, act of genocide. Assembly members call on United Nations to intervene in Taraba community. This is what has actually happened. Let's listen to this.
houses, markets, and abandoned farmland. These are some of the images one is greeted with on arrival at Tati Village, Takum local government area of Taraba State. Sad memories left behind by suspected bandits after recent attacks on Tati and over 30 communities in Takum and Usa local government areas, as well as Yangtu Special Development Area. For the first time since the attacks and counterattacks, journalists guarded by armed security operatives to these communities see the level of destruction. In the wake of these attacks, residents now take refuge in a government-owned secondary school in Takum town. Thousands have been displaced from their homes. They now seek refuge in towns believed to be secure, pending the return of peace.
They are still killing our people in the bush up to now. The record of the people we gathered so far, it was 280. But yesterday, this morning, we discovered about 5 people now are now in the bush, that they killed them. When they come, they will be shooting and pursuing people, slaughter them with cutlass and killing them, shooting guns anywhere. We need government to support with security because there are some of the crop that we need to at least see people gather here, even to job. See, somewhere fall sick, even where to go, learn where to go. We cry and the government cannot turn up. So we need the federal government to look at it, they should look into it, so that they should at least supply with security, so that we'll go and then out with our food product.
Well, you had him right there. They need the government, support. They need the government intervention as quickly as possible, so that the people can go back to the farm. And you're quite right. There will be more hunger in the country because of the insecurity, the terrorism, and the kidnapping that is happening. I'll come back again to you in the studio. But before coming back to you in the studio, it seems some of the government as well in some of the state might not be able to help the citizen. As this morning, from the news that we are getting, the terrorists have actually kidnapped the Nasarawa Information Commissioner as we speak right now. I'll come back again to you in the studio. This is Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, the 16th of August, 2022, 13 minutes past 11 a.m.
Listeners, at times I am dumbfounded when it comes to some of these stories. But let me take the opportunity to say good morning, good day to Miss Gold. It says Mr. Koike and Mr. Archie. Good day. Prince OG. Nigeria is facing hyperinflation presently. Terrorism and corruption had eaten up the economy totally. Disintegration is the way out. Now, more you watching, you guys say is a good morning all. May Nigeria not happen to us as it's happening to others now. Now, we had the Afenifere who yesterday also issued a statement. Because, when there is security, the people are able to go around their duties and are able to do whatever they have to do. You can go sell your peanuts on the street. You know that you are able to sell it, and the later that you make, you are able to. But when you want to even go out, venture out, and you are being attacked and abducted, and your poor family are now going to be charged with paying ransom before you are released, and if not, you are killed. Well, the Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere has berated the current administration for failing to secure the lives and properties of Nigerians as the economy spirals due to high inflation rate. This stance was contained in the statement issued yesterday by the Afenifere spokesman Jare Ajayi, who further slammed the shoddy handling of terrorism across the country. Now, the group also referred to Garba Shehu's statement that a terrorist deceived the government into releasing his wife and children without also releasing the passengers who had been kidnapped from the Abuja-Kaduna train as extremely regrettable and admission of failure. Now, the statement continues to say, in view of the fact that the government is expected to possess superior power in virtually everything in the country, considering the fact that the primary responsibilities of the government are the provision of security and welfare for the people, the present administration has failed to provide either security or welfare for the people of Nigeria in recent times. Yomi.
Well, and it's the same Afenifere that continue to believe that the government or the new government, as they are supporting, Peter Obi, from what we've heard, from some of their press statement, you're quite right. I had the privilege when I was home last year to meet with one of the leader of the, Afenifere, Pa Ayo and some of what, I did ask him is, why should we continue to, to say that restructuring will solve the problem in Nigeria? The line they believe is, restructure will take us back to where we were, when the country was given an independence in 1960, which was, the region of the, the western region, the northern region. But the situation is, they've been deceived so many times by the politicians that they would go into restructuring, just as they are already supporting Peter Obi as we speak right now, that Peter Obi, probably might get there and restructure Nigeria. I'm not too sure about that, but you're quite right. The statement that was released yesterday, by their publicity secretary, Mr. Jare Ajayi, and it says, worsen insecurity, Nigerians living in fear, uncertainty, Afenifere. Yes, they are pan-Yoruba social cultural organization. As a lot of Yorubas even disagree with them, we still also have millions of Yoruba that listen to their own ethos of how we should get out of Nigeria, as against somebody like Professor Banji Akintoye, that is the leader of the Ilana Omo-Oduwa, that believe that the Yoruba people literally needs to opt out of Nigeria. I was reviewing some of the one of the part of the letter that and this is just as much as we know that it's not just the Yoruba that are going through a burden in Nigeria, all the ethnic groups. We just talked about Taraba State, but this is what in one of the letter that was written to President Muhammadu Buhari on behalf of the Yoruba by Professor Banji Akintoye, and he says, and I quote, throughout the past 60 years of independent Nigeria, we Yoruba having attained to a considerable higher level of modern education and other modern development than all other black African nations before coming of the European colonialism and the amalgamation of the hundreds of peoples to form the country of Nigeria, have practically consistently made positive effort to impact the lives of the nationality. So let me give an example. We had Dr. Aboredi that traveled from Germany, and invested in farming, mechanized farming, but he was eventually killed, by the terrorist Fulani in Igogon, and that led to where Chief Sunday Igboho, also came out to say we cannot allow, the influx of Fulani terrorists into the domain of the Yoruba land, but rather than the government looking into how to resolve those issues, the government went after his life, wanted to assassinate him on the 1st of July 2021, and eventually he was able to escape, but 2 people died in that particular house. Then there's something that it was also mentioned here, in that letter that I'm reading before coming back again to you in the studio. Yoruba people have now decided to manage their own affairs and to command uncumbered control over their lives and destiny. If the government do not have the capacity, to believe that Nigerians are going through a very difficult time, this is why the Yorubas that wants to disintegrate out of Nigeria is not just because of the security. It's got to do with the economy, it's got to do with the welfare of our people, and it's got to do with the identity that has been hidden under Nigeria. And if you look at the headline that I did talk about, even Zamfara, as we speak right now, has now banned motorcycle and also direct to shoot at sight.
Well, it's quite worrying. It's quite worrying because if you look at the first story that we're talking about, the federal government being one of the accused hunger and the tendency of what is happening in Sierra Leone, happening in Nigeria, then I get worried because I look at the call by the Taraba community who are calling on the UN to come to their aid. What can the UN do for them? Because we know that so far as Nigeria is concerned, they have a government who is capable, who is alleged to be capable. Now, we look at Sowore, who called for the revolution now, because even at that time, we didn't have so much inflation and things were not that tough. So we look at him calling for that march, and then he was apprehended. And then we look at the NSAS protest, that it was a peaceful protest that was going on because of the treatment of citizens by this SARS group. And then what happened to them? So if it should happen that this whatever is happening, people cannot take it any longer, the inflation, and what desperate situation call for desperate measures, and people say that look, we have to do something about it, and they rise up. Do you think that the federal government is just going to sit down and just say, oh, let them just go around, vent their anger and go away? Are they not going to be attacked?
Well, let's take it back to what Showore says on his official Twitter handle. In the last 24 hours, there are over 16 presidential candidates running in the 2023 election. I am yet to find records of any one of them fighting for student rights, qualitative education, or education opportunity for the young people. For me, education is a right, it is not a privilege. He also said Nigerian students haven't seen the inside of their classroom in the last 6 months due to the portrait strike action occasioned by the teachers seeking better education standard. Nigeria's wicked leaders, past and present, have ensured education is not a priority.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 1122. What do you think? What is the way forward for Nigeria? The late musician, I've forgotten the name, would say, which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Where we are now, standing at the crossroads, which way? The federal government has failed. So what do you think can be done? What next? All right, then, let's go to some of the other stories making the rounds. It is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We were talking about the inflation, 19.64%. So, you look at how much people are earning. Virtually they are scratching. So, how can people survive? Tell me.
Well, it's going to be, the help of the diaspora to also continue to help, their loved ones and their family, or people that are close to them, or people that are just begging. When you go on the social media, almost not everyone, but at least, majority of Nigerians at home, with one way or the other, ask for a kind of support. And some of those support will always be that they would like to travel out of Nigeria if you have a means to help them out. And if you don't have that means, some might ask for, as little as, whatever you can give so that they can feed their loved ones. Not that they are not, capable of going to the farm, but in a situation where the chances of you going to the farm and meeting remember, these are very remote area for those that are, doing the farming. And that means that, when you have a Fulani herdsman or a terrorist that is already waiting for you on the highway, there is a lot of problem. But is this problem going to solve the problem? The governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawa, has now issued that there will not be any motorcycle from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in Gasua town. He has now also directed that the personal security to shoot at sight anyone found out violating the new order. The first thing is that it's good for security reasons, but the question is, in each of these states, the only means of transportation is motorcycle. And not just about that, some of these roads are not as durable, and that means, there could be chances that people might still probably get caught up. So are we now saying that the innocent people could be shot at sight? Is that a security measure? Is something that we're asking our listener this morning. But is it a preventive measure? Is another thing as well. But as we're saying that, there's still a lot of pressure, because as we speak, last night, there is the Nasarawa State Commissioner for Information and Culture and Tourism, Malam Yakubu Lawal, at his Nasarawa Egon country home, has now been kidnapped. Prior to that, the commissioner adoption was coming just barely 28 hours after terrorists invaded on Saturday night, invaded the Nasarawa Egon Government Science Secondary School, killed a teacher, Mr. Atua Nasala. So it seems that Nigeria, as it is right now, is going through a lot of pressure. And I'm going to come again to you in the studio, but when we come back, we go straight and touch some of the other headlines at 11:24 a.m. on Star Radio UK.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koike. Taiwo Suleiman says, Mr. Koike, Eku Esio Odua. And he goes on to say, Yoruba Nation now, Odua today says Equator, okay, as well. All right, then I'll keep your comments coming through, and I promise you I'm going to read that. We're going to go into the other stories, but one that is troubling me is about this motorcycle that people use for transportation, and you are saying that shoot on sight. Virtually you see any motorcycle riding, whether it's picking somebody who has traveled late, because you look at the roads in Nigeria, which are not good, and people might have traveled all the way to maybe the city center and now have to get maybe a means of transport to wherever they are going, and you say that, well, shoot when you see the sight of the motorcyclists, just shoot them. Just shoot them. I mean, can you just imagine what is going to happen to citizens, ordinary citizens, the poor who don't own cars and will be or cannot even afford to pay for the riding in a taxi or something, and has to use the Okada.
Well, I mean, you're quite right. I hope the state will put out as much information, not just to the citizen, but also those that might be trying to travel past some of this community as well. As much as we want each of the state governor, to be very active, to protect the lives and properties of each of the citizens in their state, but also to be cautious of not allowing, a security, architect that is not, very, very good to when it comes to, the citizen itself, because we have, lot of record to show, the ignorance and the, negligency of each of these security operatives, and that was actually led to this, NSAS 2 years ago. NSAS was not just in Lagos State; it was happening across the 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and somebody in Nasarawa, was as much as going through the same security problem, when it comes to, manhandling of some of our, citizens in Nigeria. But the question then is, how do you differentiate, an ordinary person that must have traveled through, and then you end up shooting the person, as against the terrorist that you are meant to have got a lot of intelligent gathering before an attack could take place.
Wow. Now, Green for God News, Equator, to you too, says greeting Koike and the other brother in the studio. Okay, and Adebayo Adeshola says Equator, Mr. Koike, and Green for God, lots of hearts to you as well. It is Starr Radio UK. It is the Tuesday edition of the morning show, 11:28, and Yomi, take over, bring us some of the other stories making the rounds.
Thank you so much. It doesn't seem to be ending with PDP as Wike accused River Elders of gang up is one of the headlines coming today. A very, very sad story. A man have died in a motel after meeting an online lover is one of the headlines. Federal government ASU meet today. Strike has now entered 183 days. It also seems that 9 universities may lose 159 courses accreditation. And that also takes us to Kwara State, where there was a clash between the Fulani terrorist herdsmen and some of the Yoruba OPC that led to I've seen some of the images. They're very too graphics that we can't show that, but the state governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak has now said that the government will institute a committee to look into the crisis which occurred among the people in Ajashe Ikpo in Irokpo-Odun local government area of the state, which happened last week Friday. According to report, 4 unidentified corpses were recovered by the police after the clash that occurred between the Fulani traders and members of Odua People's Congress at Kara Market, Ajashe Ikpo, on Friday. So we'll see what is going to be the outcome. But however, in a statement that was signed by the chief press secretary of the governor, Rafiu Ajakaye, on Monday yesterday, Governor Abdurazak said that there was no clashes between the people of Ajashe, Ikpo, and the Fulani of the Bororo community. That is a total lie, because there is evidence, and there's a video evidence that there was a fight. He said that the Friday incident involved some cattle traders in Kara and members of a group who were traveling through the area from a neighboring country. What we've seen is each of our governors, attempt not to really push out, this narrative that, there's a Fulani terrorist, there's a Fulani herdsman, as against, the governor of Benue State that have literally said that there is a Fulani terrorist operating, within his boundary, and is doing everything within his capacity, to deal with them. Even though we know that the Mayete Allah is now also taking, the Benue State governor, to the International Criminal Court, for crime, according to them, against some of their people in the state. But what we do know is all these clashes that is happening in Nigeria today is a Fulani terrorist that have now invaded the country pretending to be herdsmen, but rather they are becoming more problematic. Again, Peter Obi meets Wike and Mimiko. Could there be a synergy that Wike might end up to be part of the Labour Party? We saw the move by Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, traveling to commission on, with the invite of the Governor of River State, Wike. But it seems again that Peter Obi has now met with Wike and Mimiko. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has again met with the governor of Rivers State, Nelson Wike, and the former governor of Ondo State, Olusegun Mimiko. The trial also met on Monday night with top politicians, and we don't know what is going to be the outcome of that. I'm going to take us straight to the business section this morning. As we say, may Nigeria not happen to you. Our fuel subsidy has now hit 1.59 trillion naira. Refinery rehabilitation gobs 54.66 billion naira. We have 4 refineries, but none of this refinery is working, to the full aspect of it, and that literally means that more Nigerians, will continue to pay high price when it comes to diesel and the petroleum, which is known as petrol. The latest data on the amount spent on subsidizing premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, that was seen in Abuja yesterday, showed that the government have now subsidized the commodity to the tune of 1.593 trillion between January and June this year. It also gathered that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company has pumped about 54 billion into the refinery rehabilitation during the 6-month period. The question is, what impact does this have on a lot of Nigerians? Is a question that we're asking the Nigerians that are listening to us this morning. Should Nigeria reverse 9-year power privatization? Is the question that has been asked in this particular headline before coming back again to you. With about 2.9 trillion naira intervention and fund pumped into the power sector by the federal government, the World Bank, to resolve decade of rot analysis shows that there is still no relief to the crisis, especially as the country approaches the election year 2023. While the year 2023 will see new presidential and governorship candidate elected into office, that is, if election will hold in the first place, grand promises to fix power sector woes. A flashback into almost 9 years of the privatization have fetched the country with perhaps not only assisting in shaping the mind towards the 2023, but also provide an overall. And the question to some of us that believe that the country should be dissolved and disintegrate so that power sector can be dealt with, within, a new nation as against Nigeria that has become a burden. But the question then to those that are listening is, when people like the World Bank continue to pump money into a sector that is not working, then the debt comes back to Nigerians, and that is why we are saying that, the world should continue to allow the disintegration of the country called Nigeria so that more Nigerians can decide where they actually want to be. And if you want to be part of Nigeria, the country called Nigeria can continue to borrow money on behalf of Nigerians. Because if the World Bank, all these institutions keep borrowing the country money for a power sector that is not available to my community in somewhere in Ondo State, in Ekiti State, the question then is, can we allow that to continue? A breakdown of the transaction showed that the federal government earned a whopping $2.5 billion involving 6 generation companies, Gencos, and 11 distribution companies. But the Bureau of Public Enterprise Data revealed that the government sold stakes and concession the 6 Gencos for $1.2 billion, which is about 460 billion. The other 10 disco, the sale of Kaduna Electric held later, were sold at about 1.2 billion, which is about 455. The government sold 60% shares, retained 40%. Each disco also paid 1 million naira as license application fee for the Nigerian Electricity Regulation Commission (NEC) of about $75,000, about 27.1 million for a 10-year license. This is now total about 200. So when you look at the staggering amount of money in there, these still have not been able to allow money into the country. So from 2017 to 2020, the Buhari government said it has now spent 1.7 trillion on the sector. The World Bank in May provided $500 million funding to improve its electricity distribution sector. The question the World Bank should be asking this morning is, where is that money if there is no power sector in most of our community, both the rural and the urban, that is having a big impact where production is not coming out? But yet $500 million was also provided by the World Bank just in May to the federal government of Nigeria.
Well, if you take a country like Nigeria, how big it is, and giving them 500 million, you know that is just a drop in the ocean, looking at what they go borrow or what they are using the monies for. But What do you think? Let me say good some morning to Oluwatonye. It says good morning, Mr. Koiki and Archie. Okay, and Aziz. Hey, Aziz, long time. How are you? It's been quite a long time since you joined the program, but thank God you are well and you've joined us today. Thank you very much.
Watching us from Florida.
Oh, Aziz from Florida. Okay. How is the weather in Florida? I know that you are still sleeping now, though. But let's move on. Now, Yomi, the fuel subsidy issue that you did talk about. Now, when it comes to Nigeria, at times I don't know what to think, because I'm looking at a powerhouse where crude oil, I mean, the sixth in the world, and we don't have a single refinery working well. I mean, that would have been the best way to subsidize, because it's from our own, so we don't need to take it out and now use what do you call it, the hard and foreign currency to import them in. So what do you call it, refinery that was being put up by Dangote, what has become of it and what is going on so far?
Well, the government have pumped so much support, when it comes to, the Dangote refinery that we believe, the government says will be in operation very, very soon. Dangote oil refinery is expected to produce per day 650,000 barrels per day. Where is it going to be getting the resources? Definitely that will be given by the federal government. Mm-hmm. So it will need, the total amount of that crude oil, for him to refine it, mm-hmm. Create a fertilizer out of it, giving also, the petroleum that is being needed in Nigeria today, mm-hmm. because there's no power sector. The government believes that the Dangote refinery, it is the investment over about $25 billion. The Dangote refinery is an oil refinery owned by the Dangote Group that is under construction in Lekki, Nigeria. When it complete, it will have the capacity to process about 650,000 barrels. Where is it today, and what do we know when it comes to these refinery? But what we can say is, the federal government looks to Dangote refinery and other solutions as Jet A1 eats 1,000 naira per liter. That is for those kind of petrol that is needed to fly the aircraft and the private jet. Until the Dangote refinery comes on stream, there may be no respite from the aviation fuel crisis rocking both the airlines and the industry at large. According to the Minister of Aviation, Adi Siraki says this in a reaction to the astronomical rise of the aviation fuel, just as the essential commodity have now reached about 1,000 naira to a liter. Local airline operator Wednesday last week hinted that the price of aviation fuel has continued to rise, hovering from 900 to 1,000 in Lagos, in the northern part of the country. So one thing is, deliberate act is what has not allowed the full refinery to be functioning, because if an individual could build a refinery, I do not see any reason why, the 16 years of the failure of the PDP, from Olusegun Obasanjo to Yar'Adua, to Jonathan, where inflation is 17 years as of today, 10 years out of that was part of the PDP, and 7 years we can align it to the current APC of Buhari and the Yemi Osinbajo and the cabinet that works with them.
Yes, Aziz says, thank you, Mr. Archie. Yes, thank God you are doing very well. God bless you too. God bless you too. So the fuel subsidy, how much does government subsidize for on a liter of petrol or diesel? How much? Do you know? Yeah.
From what we can say is that when you look at what the government have pumped into the fuel subsidy is almost 1.59 trillion. That is a huge amount of money, and that is why the international community continue to be alarmed that the country will go bankrupt very, very soon, because what the government is actually pumping in to subsidize it. That doesn't mean it's having any impact on a layman, in somewhere in Agege, or a layman in Sokoto, or a layman in Ebonyi, in any part of Nigeria today, because they are still paying a huge amount when it comes to the petroleum itself in each of their state. And people need this because we do not have a full 24 hours electricity. And if you're running a small scale business, as simple as selling pure water, because nobody's going to take a pure water that is not cold in the very, very hot weather in Nigeria today.
I do ask myself the question. Countries like Nigeria, Ghana, is it Togo? I mean, and all those places where we talk about natural resources. God has blessed those countries with so much, but management. At times we blame our what do you call them, those who ruled over us. We blame the British and the colonial masters for whatever. But when we took over, what have we done to preserve those things, for those things to yield fruit for us all to enjoy it? That is the question on the lips of people. But do you think that going to the 2023 election is going to bring about the required results that Nigeria, the common Nigerian, need, or the Yoruba, or the Igbo, or the Northerner, or the person in the middle belt? Is the person going to enjoy anything of the sort? Well, continue to send your comments in. It is Starr Radio UK. Now, Yomi, let's move on to some of the other stories and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, sir.
We go straight to the social media at 11:41. This morning, quite a lot as usual is happening on the social media. Let's take it one at a time. Simon Ekpa 1 hour ago. What we, the modern generation of Biafra, will do is to allow the repeat of Zik to happen with Peter Obi. Their history are the same: banking fraud, corruption. Britain used Zik to divide the southern Nigeria and put hatred today. We have corrected it. Zik was very corrupt. That is coming from one of the the strong agitator of Biafra this morning. Let's take a look at what more other people are saying as well. Elochukwu Ohagi, we rather not birth Biafra than birth a nation as worse as Nigeria. This is how determined we are in birthing a sane society in the heart of Africa. So that is coming from there as well. Let's take a look at what more is saying. Henry Shield, El Rufai is a threat to Nigerian democracy. One of the a very skit comedian came out I think yesterday that his life is literally on threat, and that is Mr. Macron, as is known, a very, very popular with a strong followers, about almost 2.7 million followers. He was also tortured during the NSAS. But this is what he has to say some 52 minutes ago. About 70% of the newly registered voters are youth. I am one of them. This was my promise after October 2020, that I must vote, that I must exercise my right come 2023. The youth have the power to elect the leaders we want. It is possible if we vote wisely. As much as he says that, he also talk about the killings and the kidnapping, poor healthcare system, poor educational system, unstable power sector, adequate job opportunity, destabilization of the economy. But for those that would like the country to be disintegrated, will ask, how would that change even if anybody is allowed to become the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as against everyone going to have a nation of their own, and then we can as well defend the border, create the enabling environment. So let me take you back to what Ariel Karunwi Kakofo says. The black man had to go to war in America. The South Africa beloved before he could use the same toilet with the white man in those countries. Yet many of our brothers think the white man is our friend. They even thank him for colonizing them and calling them Nigeria. So you can see that is so that is what he has to say there. So let's take a look at what more others are saying this morning when it comes to Nigeria generally, again on the social media. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. You can join us Monday to Friday, where we continue to look into the stories and the headlines coming out of Nigeria. And like we always say on this program, may Nigeria never happen to you. Anako Briggs, they have to say Nigeria is a country of ethnic nations, speaking different languages, different cultures, worshipping different gods. No ethnic nation owns Nigeria as a right. If you reject Peter Obi as the president of Nigeria because he's an Igbo man and a Christian, the truth is we must break up. He is, I believe, from the Niger Delta area. Let me give you a background, if we can pick that up about her, and also someone that believes, in the total disintegration of Nigeria as well. But one thing is that, as a lot of Nigerians are getting ready for 2023, the question again is, would the Northerners allow power to go? Anakio Briggs, alternatively spelled as Anakio Briggs, is an English-born Nigerian environmentalist and a human rights activist. She is the founder and the director of the non-governmental organization Agap Birthright. And like I said, at the age of 70, that is exactly what she had to say when it comes to whether Nigeria should remain one or not. But one thing is a lot of Nigerians are still getting ready for an election that might happen or not. But she says again, Nigeria is a country of ethnic nation, speaking different languages, different cultures, worshipping different gods. No ethnic nation hold Nigeria as a right. And the last one that we're going to take, Indian offer to help Nigeria fight insecurity.
Well, when it comes to India, I think they can do something about it. But when it comes to some other countries, well, I don't know. Well, India has its own problems. But Yomi, before we go, now Peter Obi, what has been his stance towards the IPOB? Because I was just thinking something that, assuming Peter Obi is one who has who sympathizes with the cause of the IPOB, that means that he sympathizes with the fact that people should not be marginalized, and therefore he will give the option for people to decide whether they want to belong to Nigeria or they want out. Now, what has been his statement so far?
Well, following Peter Obi, since he declares his intention, to become, a president under the Labour Party. I mean, yes, he has made some few, remarks on, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as an example. And I'm just going back to some of what, has been said on the media, in the last couple of weeks. Peter Obi calls for the release of IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The former state governor, Peter Obi, has called on the federal government to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Addressing journalists in Owerri, the capital, Obi says the government ought to dialogue with the activists. He emphasized that the use of force is not a solution to the Biafra agitation, as such agitation are best resolved through dialogue. So as you can see that, as much as, he's also a presidential candidate, he will not be speaking on behalf of the Biafra as an Igbo man. He's speaking on behalf of Nigeria because he still wants to keep Nigeria. But the argument from the Biafra is, we do not want you, to keep Nigeria for us as an Igbo man. We would rather want to disintegrate, Nigeria as a Biafran. But in terms of, Peter Obi, he's been very, very careful when it comes to, IPOB issue, because already, some of the northern groups have already said that, is more of a, aligned with the IPOB, even though the IPOB totally disagree with him. And you just heard, what, Simon Ekpa actually said, in that, broadcast I gave on the Twitter just some few minutes ago, when he says, what we, the modern generation of Biafra, will never do is to allow the repeat of Zik to happen with Peter Obi. Their history are the same: banking, fraud, corruption. Britain used Zik to divide the southern Nigeria and put hatred. Today we have corrected it. Zik was very corrupt. So you can see that, the reason why they are saying that is, remember that Peter Obi flew into London and then he went back to Nigeria, come out of PDP, went into the Labour Party, and the youth have now become obedient.
Well, maybe it's because someone was talking to me whilst we were on, telling me that, well, he think that maybe giving Peter Obi a chance, he can say that, look, okay, let's give people the referendum. Let the Yorubas be given the referendum. Let the Igbos be given a referendum. If they want to be part of the country, they want to leave, that will be the way forward, because he's talking about jawing rather than warring or clamping down on people like that. But what do you think if you are listening to us? It is Starr Radio UK. Yomi, before you go, or if you want to react to that statement, before you go,
Well, I'll just say let's continue to listen to Starr Radio UK. I'll be back again same time tomorrow. As we say, Nigeria never happened to you. And as Indians say, they would like to support Nigeria to fight the insecurity. I hope they will also be prepared to allow the disintegration of the indigenous people as well. So let's continue to listen to Starr Radio UK. I'll be back again same time tomorrow at 11 o'clock. For now, have a very good morning and bye for now.
Good morning, Yomi. Well, if the colonial masters themselves who put Nigeria together cannot even solve it out for us, and then what about the country that they colonize as well? Come to say that, what, we can help you fight the insecurity issues that is going on. And well, what next? Well. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. We're going to take a break, and then once we come back, we'll continue with the show. But don't you go away. We're going to be looking at some of other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. It is Starr Radio UK. The Zongo man says, where is the dollar? Nigeria needs the dollar so much, the inflation and everything. Ghana, West Africa, all the African countries all across the globe. Where is the dollar? Let me say good morning to Sammy Solo. Greetings, folks. All right then. Okay, monkey no go see banana. Why? Because somebody decided to steal the banana. And that's what we seem to be seeing. But Prince OG says Peter Obi is a politician and part of the problems of Nigeria. So he reckons that Peter Obi will not come in to sort this issue out. As some people in the background were thinking that maybe give Peter Obi the chance, and when he comes, it gives us the opportunity to say whether we want to break away. But Prince, you know that Mikhail Gorbachev at the time had to take the reins of the USSR and allowed the disintegration of the USSR to take place there as well. And somebody would say that back in the day in South Africa as well. I've forgotten the name of the one who released de Klerk, F.W. de Klerk, became the president. And then he decided, you know what, we had enough of all this. Let's bring Mandela out. And now he decided he became the vice president of South Africa, vice president to Mandela even as well. So maybe that will solve the issue. But what do you think, Prince? Alright then, or wherever you're listening to us from. It's now 5 minutes to the top of the hour, 5 minutes to 12. As I announced earlier on this morning, at 1:30 exactly, we'll be bringing you the BB Means Business show with BB Clement. I'll tell you more about what we'll be looking at today. So wherever you are, once again, welcome to the show. But don't you go away. Stay with me. We are transmitting live on the social media platforms and our own apps. You can type in Starr Radio Global on your app store, whether it's iOS or Android, and then just go in there. You just download it for free and you have all the sessions there. Once again, welcome the Zongo man himself. Where is the dollar? Where is the dollar? The dollar is in the pocket of some politician somewhere, and they are causing other people to be hungry. Now, this is not what is happening in Sierra Leone will happen in Nigeria or in some of the other West African countries as well. And how would the security, react to that, or government react to that? Are they going to allow people to just go, demonstrating, especially when they have not got no answers to the questions or the quest of the demonstrators? What do you think about that? Well, it's Starr Radio, okay? It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break. We come back and we continue with the show. I'll be opening the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions, and then we will continue with other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019,
forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and Inter, you are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination Inter. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactly a minute after 12. And let me announce the lines opened wherever you are, that you will be able to join in the discussions wherever you might be this morning. Okay, so we're gonna be moving on to some other stories making their rounds. Okay. Just bear with me whilst I try to. Okay. Yes, just bear with me. All right then. Okay. Right. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. The lines are open. Now it is 0208-133-2257 or 58 0208-133-2257 or 58. For those of you living in the US, Canada, and the Caribbean area, it's 001-718-303-2737 001-718-303-2737. And then you can also text or WhatsApp us. It's 075-396-61744 075-396-61744. Our Twitter handle is @Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. So feel free, just share your take with us wherever you might be, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Periscope, Twitter, whatever comments that you have, you can also post it there, and I promise you one thing for sure, I'm gonna read that. All right then. Now let's move on to other parts of Africa as well, looking at some of the other stories there. Now, the communication officer of the New Patriotic Party in the Bolsa North constituency of the Upper East region, Mr. Derek Bakisi, has revealed that some members of parliament from the opposition National Democratic Congress are doing better in the opposition. Oh my goodness. He also noted that he does not know what the member of parliament for the Bolsa North constituency, Honorable James Agaga, is doing in parliament. He urged the MP not to always use opposition to cover his incompetence and abysmal performance as a member of parliament for the good people of Bolsa North constituency. But this again puts into question what is expected of an MP. Is he the one coming to cause the roads to be, repaired, or bring water into your community, build schools? And he is there as just a catalyst, yes, there representing you, putting your cause around. So do you mean that maybe he's not shouting too much and that's why they are not hearing him? Or what do you think? Or is it policies that are skewed by the majority in parliament to better their chances as a party, so that, like the MPP is saying that break the 8, they will be able to use those things to whip up sentiments towards or whip up interest towards them, so that people will vote for them, for their party. That's what seems to be going on there. But well, it's not coming your way from Starr Radio UK. That's what that member it's been said about a member of parliament. Now moving on straight to some other story that is making the round. Now we have ACP Agozo who is filing a criminal appeal against others to open defense. Now the lawyers of the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Dr. Benjamin Agozo, has filed a criminal appeal to challenge the High Court order for him to open his defense in the ongoing alleged coup trial. Dr. Agozo, who is one of the 10 persons standing trial for their alleged plot to overthrow the government, contends that the High Court erred with the order since no prima facie case had been established by the prosecution. Now he goes further to say the senior police officer had on April 24, 2021 pleaded not guilty to the charge of abetment when he was first arraigned together with 9 others. On July 25, 2022, a panel of 3 High Court justices presided over by Mrs. Efia Sewa Asare-Bochwe ordered him and 9 others to open their defense in the ruling on a submission of a no case. Now, it followed the closure of the state's case after calling 13 witnesses to give evidence, including 7 soldiers. Dissatisfied with the orders of the High Court, Dr. Agozo, through his lawyers on Monday, August 15, filed an appeal at the Supreme Court, which is premised on 4 grounds as follows. Now, 1. Or A, the trial court misdirected itself, erred in law when it ordered the 10th accused person, appellant Dr. Benjamin Agozo, to open his defense when no prima facie case had been established by the prosecution against the 10th accused or the appellant. Now B, the trial court erred in law when it failed to refer Article 3, subsection 3, B of the Constitution 1992 to the Supreme Court for interpretation. Now C, the ruling and consequential orders are unsupported, having regard to the evidence on record. And then the D, additionally, grounds may be filed upon receipt of the records. Now, the charges were Dr. Frederick Yao McPalm, the Chief Executive Officer of Citadel Hospital, and 7 others are facing 2 charges, to wit, conspiracy and excessive treason. Now, other 7 are Donya Kafui alias Ezo, A2, Bright Alan, Deborah Ofusu alias Bright Alan Yabua, A3, Johannes Zikpi, A4, Warrant Officer Class 2, Esther San Dekwewin, A6, Corporal Saidu Abubakar, A7, Lance Corporal Ali Solomon, A8, and Corporal Sylvester Akampewon, A9. Now, while Colonel Samuel Kojo Gameli, A5, and ACP Dr. Benjamin Agozo, A10, have been charged for abetment, all 10 accused individuals have pleaded not responsible for and have been granted bail while standing trial. On July 25, following the ruling on the submission of no case, the court ordered the 10 accused persons to open their defense to the charges. Now, this was after the panel presided over by Justice Efiase Asare-Bochwe held that a prima facie case had been established by the prosecution after calling 13 witnesses. Now, the panel, which also includes Justice Stephen Opong and Justice Hafisata Amele Boba, ordered them to file a list of all witnesses, then intended to call, and also, if they will require the help of the court to subpoena witnesses, they should indicate so. The court further directed the accused to also file their personal witness statement by September 19, 2022. The case has been adjourned to October 10, 2022 for the case management conference. Well, what do you think is happening there? Have they got enough evidence against him? If they've not, can they let him just go? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, interestingly, the PURC in Ghana has hiked prices. And they're saying, don't deceive Ghanaians on tariff hikes. The minority in parliament has cautioned the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission against deceiving Ghanaians on the actual utility tariff hikes for electricity and water. Now, firstly, we wish to debunk the misleading conclusion that the PURC has increased electricity tariffs by 27% for all consumers. A critical look at the tariff structure has announced revealed that all residential consumers who fall between 0.300 kilowatts bracket have witnessed a price increase from GHP per kilowatt hour 65.4161 to 89.04, representing an increment of almost 34%. The ranking member of Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, John Abdullahi Junapor, stated. Now, he further explained that the bulk of residential consumer fall within the 0.300 kilowatt bracket and will therefore be adversely affected by 34% adjustment. The ranking member noted that the increment is on account of worsening Ghana cedi against other major trading currencies. According to him, the cedi has in recent times witnessed a free fall reaching almost 50% and current rates set amongst the worst performing currencies in the world. Where is Bawumia? He needs to arrest the cedi. The country is already reeling under galloping inflation estimated at 32%. This utility tariff increment will only exacerbate the current high cost of living and will thus worsen the plight of the already impoverished Ghanaian. Now, prior to this electricity tariff increment, petroleum products at the pumps have witnessed a colossal increment, and about 100% so far. The energy debt recovery levy has seen an increase of 20%. The price stabilization and recovery levy is up by 40%. The unified petroleum pricing formula has been increased by 164%, while the bust margin has been increased from 3 pesos to 9 pesos, representing 200% increase. As if this is not enough, the fuel margin levy has also been increased by another 233%, he added. The MP for Yape Kushegu explained that the situation is against the background that the volume of petroleum products consumed has increased by 35% from 4 billion liters to 55 billion liters. 5.5 billion liters, my apologies. Now, we are of the strongest conviction that the government can and must do something to cushion Ghanaians who are going through unimaginable hardship with ever worsening poverty levels under the Bawumia-led government. It will be recalled that following the major tariff reviews in 2016, the NDC government intervened, resulting in a reduction of the rate of increment by close to 50%. We have also taken note of the government announcement that an unexpected windfall of about $500,000 from Ghana's share of petroleum resources was accrued in the 2022 mid-year budget statement. According to him, the statement means the government is making huge unanticipated revenues from crude export, hence the need to cushion the suffering masses from those windfalls. Finally, we wish to caution the PURC to refrain from capturing the AXA plant, which has had its contract tenure expire in the price built up, since that will be illegal, he added. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, 14 minutes past the top of the hour, and it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, interesting story here. Now, back in the day, or some few months back, we had the Parliament passing a narcotics control law or commission act. Okay. Now, Parliament was not transparent. That's what the Supreme Court is saying. Who took the case to the Supreme Court and why are they saying so? The Supreme Court says Parliament did not act transparently in the passage of the Narcotics Control Commission Act. Now, the specific reference is made to portions of the law, Section 43, which permitted the cultivation of cannabis for medicinal and industrial purposes. So if they go to their firm plane to go and arrest a teacher and 4 others who have cultivated about 4 acres or plus of that, and say arranging them before court, then why? What right have they got to do so? The court on July 27 declared this provision unconstitutional. The full decision of the highest court has since been released. The case filed by private citizen Ezomi Manan, had urged the Apex Court to set aside the provision insisting it breached Article 106, subsection 2 of Ghana's Constitution, and that article reads, "Now, no bill other than such a bill as is referred to in paragraph A of Article 108 of the Constitution shall be introduced in Parliament unless A, it is accompanied by an explanatory memorandum setting out in detail the policy and principles of the bill, the defects of the existing law, the remedies proposed to deal with those defects, and the necessities for its introduction, and B, it has been published in the Gazette at least 14 days before the date of its introduction in Parliament." The private citizen argued that the explanatory memorandum that was laid in Parliament did not sufficiently lay out the policy change that was being brought by the law, specifically by Section 43. Now, this policy change, he insisted, was not debated enough before its passage into law. The Apex Court upheld the opposition from the evidence submitted by the plaintiff hearing. There was no debate of this crucial amendment. The defendant does not even assert that there was debate over the amendment, which was introduced at about 5:50 p.m. and short of presidential assent had become law by 6:02. I mean, virtually less than 12 minutes, it has become law there. The court took the view that this sinned against key constitutional requirement on lawmaking. Now, needless to say, this conduct and mode of lawmaking defeats transparency and accountability enjoined by the Constitution. The majority opinion, authored by Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi, stated he was backed by his colleagues, Justice Jones Doche, Agnes Doji, and Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, to strike down Section 43 of the law, which allowed the cultivation. Now, Justice Amadou Tanku, Nene Amegache, and Professor Kote disagreed with the majority view. But this all coming your way from Star Radio UK. Well, so if this law, these guys went on to cultivate weed, should they be hand down the way they are being hand down, or being arrested and being thrown to face the full rigors of the law? What do you think is going to happen there? Right, it's All Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 18 minutes past the top of the hour. Now moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds in or on the African continent. Now, Independent Observer Group backs Kenya's presidential poll results. That is the statement that is coming. A group of independent observers has said the just concluded Kenyan presidential election corresponds to their own tally. The observation group, by name of ELOG, said they had dispatched over 5,000 observers across 290 constituencies in 47 counties in the whole of Kenya. Now, ELOG notes that results transmission system worked much better than expected, with over 99% of scanned images of 34A and the 34B posted on the IEBC web portal. However, we are extremely concerned about the chaos that broke out at the National Tallying Center at Bomas, as well as the split within the IEBC, leading to some commissioners quitting the tallying process and issuing their own statement prior to the announcement of the presidential result, said Anne Ireri, ELOG chairperson. Now, ELOG further reiterated that it is up to the Supreme Court of Kenya to validate the declaration made by the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission, Wafula Chibukati. Now, 4 of the 7 electoral commissioners of Kenya presidential election told journalists on Monday they could not support the opaque nature of the final phase of the vote verification. They spoke just before the declaration of Deputy President William Ruto as the winner of the election over 5-time contender Raila Odinga. Now, in a quote, he said, "We cannot take ownership of the result that is going to be announced," she added, without giving details. Now, Ruto received 50.49% of the votes with more than 7.1 million, the chairman said, while Odinga received 48.85% with more than 6.9 million in last Tuesday's peaceful election. The next move for the former Premier Raila Odinga can see him move to the country's highest court to invalidate Ruto's win as per the Electoral Commission. And do you think that is going to happen? Do you think that is going to happen? Will he for once just be a statesman as he is and just say, look, for the peace of Kenya, let's just accept this result and let things just tick along? What do you think? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then. Okay, one final story. From there we have Odinga's chief agent alleging electoral fraud, and that's how it all happens, you know. And last French forces have left Bamako after 9 years, and then worsening living conditions in Goragocho, and the Ugandans manufacture low energy consumption tools there. Kenya Deputy President Ruto declared winner. And Zuma lawyers are trying to overturn a decision to send him back to court. Let me bring you that one quickly, and then we go to other parts of the world before we bring the program to a close. Now, lawyers representing former U.S. South Africa President, my apologies, Jacob Zuma, asked the courts on Monday to overturn a decision to send him back behind bars. Now, Zuma was sentenced to prison last year but granted medical parole after just 2 months. The 18-year-old was jailed in July 2021 after being sentenced to 15 months for contempt of court. The former president repeatedly refused to testify before a commission of inquiry into the rampant corruption under his presidency between 2009 and 2018. In December, the court overturned Zuma's parole, a ruling that the head of the prison service who made the decision was not justified in doing so. That during his stay in prison, Mr. Zuma was hospitalized for an undisclosed operation. Now, violent protests and looting followed Jacob Zuma's imprisonment in July 2021. The violence affected the eastern province of KwaZulu-Natal before spreading to Johannesburg, killing more than 350 people and damaging the country's economy. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other parts of the world, a couple of stories there, Now, Russia is blaming sabotage for new Crimea blast, as I said earlier on, a week after an apparent Ukrainian attack on a Russian military base in occupied Crimea. An arms store on another depot has been hit by a series of explosions. Now, Russian officials said a fire triggered the blast in the Jankoy area before later blaming sabotage. Now, a separate fire broke out at the power substation and the railway was damaged. A string of blasts last week destroyed Russian warplanes at the Black Sea base on the Crimean coast. Now, Ukraine has never publicly admitted the attack, but presidential office advisor Mikhailo Podolyak described the latest incident as demilitarization in action, indicating that the explosions were not accidental. A Crimean Tatar leader, Rifat Chubarov, called the explosion a hit that could be heard far across the steppe. Now, Russia Defense Ministry said the fire broke out at a temporary ammunition storage site near the village of Maisk, Mayskoye in Russia at around 06:15 Moscow time, and that the cause was being investigated. The Defense Ministry in Moscow said there had been no serious casualties, but Russian appointed regional head Sergei Asinov visited the site and said 2,000 people had been moved from a nearby village, and 2 people had been wounded there as well. One man has a shrapnel wound, and one was crushed by a wall. Their lives are not in danger, fortunately, he said. Well, we wish them a speedy recovery, but when will all this war cease? That is one of the questions that is being posed this morning. Well, interestingly, a few days or weeks after the visit of Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan, the China's decision to fire missiles over Taiwan must be contested, the top U.S. military commander has said. Now, 7th Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Carl Thomas said otherwise such action by China will become the norm, calling it gorilla in the room. Now, Beijing held military drills around the self-governing island earlier this month, but did not confirm if any missiles passed directly over it. Now, tensions soared after U.S. politician Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan in August. Her high-profile visit infuriated Beijing, which claimed the self-ruled island as part of its territory. Now, Tuesday comments by Vice Admiral Thomas are significant. Based in Yokosuka, Japan, the 7th Fleet is the largest forward deployed fleet in the U.S. Navy, with some 50 to 70 vessels and submarines, and it's a key part of its military presence in the region. It is very important that we contest this type of thing. I know that the gorilla in the room is launching missiles over Taiwan, Vice Admiral Thomas told reporters in Singapore. It's irresponsible to launch missiles over Taiwan into international waters. If you don't challenge it, all of a sudden it can become just like the island in the South China Sea that have now become military outposts. They now are full functioning military outposts that have missiles on them, large runways, hangars, radars, and radars and listening posts. Now, China's decision to conduct nearly a week of military drills in the water around Taiwan disrupted major shipping and aerial routes, a move the island said effectively amounted to a blockade. It also accused Beijing of using the drills as practice for an invasion. Taiwan said the missiles China fired flew high into the atmosphere and posed no threat. Its defense ministry did not disclose the trajectory of the missiles, citing intelligence concerns. All right then, it is Star Radio UK. Let's come to the UK front, and then we can bring the program to a close here. Now, inflation is driven fastest fall in real pay. And that story says, now pay has fallen further behind the rising cost of living, according to the latest official data. While average wages rose 4.7% between April and June, that was outpaced by inflation or price rises, which is growing at a much faster pace. As a result of the real value of pay fell by 3%, according to the Office of the National Statistics. Now, household budgets are being hit by soaring energy bills as well as higher food and fuel costs. The rise in prices has fueled the UK inflation rate to a 40-year high. The latest inflation figure due out on Wednesday is forecast to be higher. The gap between pay growth and inflation is the biggest since records began more than 20 years ago. So how high is it going to be? That is the question being posed. But as I said earlier on, we're going to be taking bringing the program to close. But this afternoon, exactly at 1:30, we'll be having BB Clement on BB Means Business, and we're going to bring you more on the front. Now, police is trolling a CCTV footage for new sightings. The police are trolling through CCTV for possible sightings of missing Olayomi Davis following a recent appeal. They say the last confirmed sighting of the student nurse was at 12:30 BST on July 7, 3 days after she left her home in Grays, Essex on 4th of July. Now, Miss Davis was captured on CCTV walking along London Road in Croydon, South London, wearing a red t-shirt and carrying a white handbag. The Met said it was possible she is in the local area and in need of help. The 5 people arrested in connection with Miss Davis' disappearance, 2 on suspicion of murder and 3 on suspicion of kidnap, have been released on bail pending further investigation. Detective Chief Inspector Nigel Penny, who is leading the investigation, said outstanding public support for the appeal had led to confirming sightings of Miss Davis after 7th of July. He said the search to find Olayomi Davis continues, and we are conducting searches, appeals, and extensive CCTV inquiries in order to trace and find her. I will remind people that even though detectives from Specialized Crime are investigating, this remains a missing person inquiry. We are obviously very concerned for the welfare of Olayomi, and it's possible she is in the local area and in need of help. We have reports of someone of Olayomi's description being seen in Croydon area in the days after she was last seen on CCTV, and we sincerely hope to find her safe and well. Detective Chief Inspector Penny also urged Miss Davis or anyone who may be with her to get in touch as her family are desperate for news. There's a picture of her walking down the roads. She looks a bit tired. I don't know whether the problem that she has there. Olayomi, your family love you and are desperate for news. They will be overjoyed to hear you are safe. And that ends the broadcast for today. Miss Davis was wearing the end of her studies at King's College London and had secured a job with Guy's and St. Thomas's Health Trust. She had worked in A&E during the COVID-19 pandemic and was interested in doing research on diseases. The 24-year-old, who is nicknamed Princess due to her love of Disney, her family holidays planned to Spain and Disneyland Paris, but she cannot be found. So if anybody knows her whereabouts, feel free, get in touch with any of the security agencies or the police, and they will help her brought back to her family. Yes. So please, if you have any information pertaining to that, do so. All right then. So this is where I bring the program to a close for today. And as I said earlier on, I'm going to be bringing you updates. My apologies. Career one. What am I doing? BB Clement with BB Means Business. BB Means Business with BB Clement coming your way at exactly in the next 58 minutes. So stay tuned. Don't you go away. But enjoy this song whilst I sign out for today. Okay. And this is one of a copy of Kweju Enchi's song that says Midofupa, my dear lover, wherever you are listening to me from, wherever you are listening to me, I love you to bits. Have a wonderful afternoon and see you all tomorrow. Bye bye for now.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Sorry, and a pa, ni un famille, adore fimano, menya, c'est ma belle bois, as a ritual, what ma was seeing me, menya wonderful for me. Ada ye won't call out the gem, Ada ye won't call out shishi. Adaya will come at the Son of dear, a brand new was here, a brand new was Susana winning Bancasa. Tintumrania, Bobby Bini, if I was a brand new Jimmy, so how do you?